UFC Vegas 100 is a historic event for the Apex. It is also a pretty underwhelming card and a card that feels very sketchy. But that doesn't mean we're not going to bet on this card. That doesn't mean we're not going to chase some prop bets and some parlays. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to give you my bets for UFC Vegas 100. Before we talk about this week, let's look at last week. UFC Edmonton was another successful week for the boys, and I spelled boys with a Z because we are super cool. Over 4 units of net profit from the boys, 33% return on your investment. And UFC Edmonton seemed to be a weird card for a lot of people. But that wasn't the only card we did well at. Here's a look at the last 10 cards that I bet on, that I filmed these videos for you. And I am up 9.9 units, essentially 1 unit profit per event, a 27% return on your investment over the last 10 cards. And that includes a loss. I am up money 9 of the last 10 cards. UFC Paris was not kind to us. The rest of those were. And the reason this is here, the reason I'm zooming out to show you 10 freaking cards is to show you what long-term success looks like. Anybody can win 1 week after losing a couple and pretend that they're a genius. You know how hard it is to be up 9 of the last 10 cards betting on UFC? And the good news is you can have access to every single pick, bet, tool, and everything that we do right now. UFC 309 is next weekend. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top, and you too can have access to every single pick and bet, and hopefully have the same success that we have been having. But it's not just copy-paste bets. We also have tools, insight, data. A lot of you love to do your own research. You watch these videos because you have your own opinions and you just want to hear mine. You watch these videos to scare you away from some bets, to reaffirm some others. Well, the tools can do that for you as well. Data Analyzer is one of those tools. Full tape index in there so you can actually watch the fights. Interactive data, filters, charts, all of that. The Prop Hunter, this is a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. And we also have the line movement tracker. This is going to give you the opening odds, the current odds, win probability, and line movement for every fighter on every card. All these freaking things that I just mentioned, the winning bets, the tools, the insight, available right now. One single package, $10 for an entire month. UFC 309 is next weekend. Don't be a cheap bastard. Let's go ahead and talk about this card. Before I give you the bets, let's talk about some favorites and some underdogs. I got to tell you, I don't like a lot of underdogs on this card. I'm pretty favorite heavy on this card. With that being said, there are some tough guys. There are some people that can pull things out of their hat. There's also a bunch of UFC debuts, which is going to be really, really tricky. But let's talk about some of my confident favorites. Mansour Abdul Malik, minus 365 on BetOnline, minus 352 at BetOpenly. You're going to get better odds over there. He is a UFC debut, which is always a little sketchy, but I think he gets it done. He's fighting a very finishable guy. He's got Division I wrestling, and he's also an animal. He doesn't just take you down and hang out on top. He'll take you down and elbow you in the face and work and look for a finish. And again, he's fighting a guy that is very, very finishable. Elizeu Zaleski. He was originally supposed to fight Nicholas Dalby. That fight dropped. He has a brand new opponent. So I did what I do. I go watch the tape. I do the research. This guy sucks. Yeah, he's undefeated. He fights like this. Stands straight up in the air, and he leans his head back. You know why he leans his head back? He's afraid to get hit. So he leaves his head all the way in the back, thinking that nobody can hit me like this. That leaves him open for takedowns. Elizeu Zaleski's going to come forward, bomb away, probably take him down. I think Elizeu Zaleski lets it done. Obviously, minus 700 isn't ideal, but it is what it is. We're talking about my confident favorites, and he's one of them. Jillian Robertson's another one. She is fighting a woman who was just finished, just submitted by Angela Hill, the least dangerous person to ever walk into an octagon. If Angela Hill can submit her, so can Jillian Robertson. And that's an oversimplification, but the reality is Jillian Robertson's got decent takedowns, phenomenal jiu-jitsu, great control on top, and I think she cruises to a victory here. Carlos Prates in the main event, obviously that's juiced as well. If Neil Magny wasn't just knocked out in his last fight, I don't think these odds would be what they are. But I think a lot of people are doing that deductive reasoning that I just did, and they're going to say, well, he was just knocked out by Michael Morales, who's insanely good, but not necessarily a knockout artist. And if Carlos Prates will have his way, he will knock him out as well. Carlos Prates is an absolute savage beast striker, and this fight is set up to be a showcase. If we're looking at some underdogs, the only underdog on this list that I picked, so I got 3 names here. The only one I actually picked to win is Antonio Trocoli. I think he wins this fight. He's fighting a guy that hasn't fought in a couple of years. He's fighting a guy that only has 6 professional MMA fights. Antonio Trocoli is tremendous. He's got great jiu-jitsu. He'll come forward. He'll bomb away. And yeah, he didn't look great in his last fight, but let's not forget that was his first fight back after 3 years away. because of USADA. And he had to fly to the other side of the world last minute, cut a bunch of weight. Listen, Tresean Gore will win a staring contest, but I don't think he's going to win this fight. Gerald Meerschaert, plus 250. I didn't pick him to win, but we're talking about solid underdogs. Gerald Meerschaert is a guy that you can never count out of a fight. His last fight is a perfect example. Was getting the absolute shit kicked out of him, somehow gets a takedown, and pulls off the submission. This fight's going to be a little different, though, because he's fighting another grappler. Jacob's view of that is this is the perfect matchup for Gerald Meerschaert. He doesn't have to worry about a very good striker with takedown defense. He's going to get what he wants, a grappling match. And while I agree with those statements, I think his opponent, Renier de Rider, is going to be the better grappler. Gerald Meerschaert's a very good, slick, dangerous grappler, but Renier de Rider is also a very good grappler. He's a little more controlled. Gerald's not going to catch him in an exchange. So I think Renier de Rider is going to get the takedowns, control on top, and be the more dominant, steady grappler in that matchup. But he is a good underdog because you can never, ever count Gaston or Gerald Meerschaert out of a fight. Then we got Gaston Bolanos. He's fighting a UFC debut. Listen, Gaston Bolanos is a very good striker. He's a dangerous striker. And yeah, at times he looks a little fraudy, but he hits hard. He moves forward. He will stay in your face. He is fighting a gentleman that we saw clean unconscious in under 1 minute in this exact same cage. I don't think Gaston is necessarily going to win, but there is a very clear path to win. He's a high-level kickboxer who has insane power. He has multiple spinning back elbow knockouts. So can Gaston win? Absolutely. Therefore, he's a solid underdog. That's a very short list of solid underdogs. And again, I only picked Antonio Trocoli out of those three. Let's take a look at the actual bets. I had 5 units on the board. I had a half of a unit on Miles John, but that fight was canceled. So here we are. I've got 4 different 1-unit bets and then a half unit on Antonio Trocoli. Listen, guys, I'm up 9 of the last 10 cards. This game is about long-term success. I don't know how I feel about this card. I think what's starting to happen, and you guys let me know if this happens to you. I think what's starting to happen is we've been doing so well and we've been so consistent and having so many bets hit that I'm starting to be like, when is this going to fall apart? It's going to fall. Like, we're going to have a bad week, but when? And maybe we won't. We will. Maybe we won't. But I believe in all of these bets. So let's just continue to do what we do. Continue to do what has built the success this year. This year has been a phenomenal year. I'm just doing 10 because 10's an easy number to absorb. I'm not going to list 50 or whatever the hell we've had so far. Either way, Antonio Trocoli, plus 145, half of a unit. All the reasons I mentioned before. Fighting a guy coming off a 2-year layoff that just likes to stare at you and not commit to anything. Then I parlayed the 2 UFC debuts that I think absolutely win. Renier de Rider. This guy was a 2 Division 1 FC champion. And Mansour Abdul Malik, a Division 1 wrestler who is fighting a very, very, very finishable Dusko Todorovic. Minus 127 on that parlay. I threw a full unit on him. And then I parlayed 3 fighters. And I'm pausing dramatically because I don't know if I hit 3 fight parlays. But we got Damon Blackshear, Jillian Robertson, Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates odds are pretty far gone. So that's why we did a 3-legger. I think Jillian Robertson 100% gets it done. I think Carlos Prates 100% gets it done. But to get a little more money, to get a little more meat on this bone, we added Damon Blackshear. I do think he wins. I'm pretty confident he wins. His opponent, though, is good. He wrestled in college. He's got good boxing. So if Damon Blackshear fights smart and just is the more athletic fighter, has the better striking, works in some offensive takedowns, this should be an easy parlay. And it's plus money. And that's what we're hoping happens. Then I have the lady over parlay. We had this last week and we missed by 2 seconds. Literally missed by 2 seconds. We have Denise Gomes and Karolina Kovacevic. That one is basically a lock. I'm not worried about that leg at all. Karolina Kovacevic, tried and true veteran, has been run through the gamut time and time again, and she is durable. She has veteran savvy, and I'm not worried about that fight getting finished. The Segula-Mullins fight, that one worries me a little bit because there's a lot of questions about how good Segula is or is not. The comments flooding in that she's fighting nothing but frauds, modified MMA rules. Somebody's like, she fought a 12-year-old. She didn't fight a 12-year-old. That's just a profile picture of her opponent. But there are a lot of questions. And I think Mullins wins. I'm very confident that Mullins wins squarely. But I'm worried that she might be too good and could get a finish here, especially because her entire Instagram is her just being a grapple beast. 1 unit on that, minus 115. And then, of course, we have the safety parlay. I don't want to push the safety parlay too hard because when the safety parlay misses, everybody cries and throws a temper tantrum like a petulant child. And we have had weeks where the safety parlay misses because it's just like any other bet. It's just one that I'm pretty confident in. We've had weeks where the safety parlay misses, the other bet's hit, and we're up. Juicy J, baby. I don't know why I said Juicy J. My name doesn't start with a J. I don't know why I did that. But safety parlay hit 5 in a row. 4 of the last 5, or the last 4, actually, plus money. This one is not plus money. But I'm still pretty confident that it hits. You can unlock the safety parlay and all the other bets that we will place and have placed at WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. UFC 309 is next week. Next week. It's $10 for an entire freaking month. You saw the success. Don't be a cheap bastard. Here's a teaser on Jacobs. Normally, this top row, I would just show you what Jacobs' Lock of the Week is. Lock of the Week is free. It's 100% free. It's not behind the paywall. It's not premium. It's free. But the reason I put watch the whole video is because you TikTok short attention span having turds open his video that he spends hours and hours and hours editing and putting together. You open his video, you immediately scroll to see what the highlight is. So, okay, that's who the Lock of the Week is. And you absolute nerds did that. And you're like, oh, this fight's canceled because it was Cody Garbrandt. Jacob's original Lock of the Week was Cody Garbrandt. So you open the video. The video was up on the channel for freaking 10 seconds. There was 8 comments. Fight's canceled. So that means that you opened the video, you scrolled immediately, you saw the sick Cody Garbrandt highlight, and then just commented. Well, watch the goddamn video because he has a new Lock of the Week, and he says what that Lock of the Week is. He gives it to you, and it's plus 600. So I'm not going to give it to you here. Let's support our boy who puts in an insane amount of time to put together those sick edits. It's not his fault he put together a sick edit and then an hour later the fight's canceled. So instead of burning the edit, he shares that with you, and he went out of his way to come up with a new Lock of the Week at insane odds. Watch his damn videos, free. I'll also give you another one. He's got Gerald Mearshart, plus 400. Obviously, he only put a quarter of a unit on that. A little bit of a flyer. He's got a whole bunch of plus money bets this week. Jakey Boy has a bunch of plus money bets this week. He's got 4.65 units on the board this minute. Weigh-ins haven't happened yet. When they do happen, there will be more bets. If all goes well, and every single one of these bets can hit, none of them are conflicting, meaning you're not going to see so-and-so to win in round 1, round 2, round 3, so obviously some of those bets are going to be. No, every single one of Jacob's bets, in theory, could hit, and if they do, he's going to more than double his money. Unlock all the bets. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. 309's next weekend. Let's take a look at BetOpenly. Their whole thing is the best odds. And that's because they're not a sports book. It is peer-to-peer betting, person to person. If you bet against a safety parlay, you could be taking my actual money from my account. If you bet against the Lock of the Week, you could be taking Jacob's actual money. And that's the beauty of BetOpenly. Because it's peer-to-peer, because they're not a sports book, they don't have to beat you. They don't care if you win or lose. They just charge a 1% processing fee on the winnings to keep the website running, to make it all work. Check them out. WeWantPicks.com/BetOpenly or BetOpenly.com. Again, here's a look at the last 9 cards. 9.9 net units of profit over the last, 10 cards. 10 cards. 10 cards spans multiple months because there was a couple of breaks in here. If you were a premium member the last couple of months, you've done nothing but win. You have paid for years, lifetime of premium membership with the winnings from the last 10 cards alone. Let that sink in. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. And finally, if you want $50, we'll send you $50. We have sportsbook affiliates. Just go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. You'll see all the affiliates there. If you use our link, you got to click the link. You got to make an account. Make a deposit. They're going to pay me. I'm going to slice off some of that money. I'm going to give it right back to you. It's literally that simple. We get paid per sign-up. When you do these sportsbook affiliates, you get options. They say, hey, do you want to get paid per sign-up at this amount of money? Or do you want a cut of the profits? We opted for the sign-up. I don't want a cut of the profits because we're giving out winning bets. That doesn't work well for me because it'll be negative profits. Plus, it's just too risky. At our scale, here's a little insight into this industry. At our scale, with the amount of people that we have some whales in there betting enormous amounts of money on God knows what sport. We can only control UFC. So no, I don't want the risk of my community being very good at betting. So we just do the one-time payment for signups. And then I slice off $50 of it and I give it to you because, hey, if that's going to encourage you to sign up, that means we get more signups and I make some money. And if I'm making money because of you, it'd be crazy not to reward you. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Use the link, sign up, make a deposit. Good luck this weekend, guys. I thought last weekend was a sketchy week too, and we did well. So I think I'm just nervous, Ange. We've been doing too well. Thanks for the support.